Thank you very much. Ms. Janet Sadiq Khan, Commissioner, New York City Department of Transportation, Mr. Robert O'Keefe, Chairman, Clean Air Initiative Asia Center, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. I'm indeed honored to join you today at the Better Air Quality 2010 conference organized by the Clean Air Initiative Asia Center in partnership with Singapore's National Environment Agency, Land Transport Authority, the Singapore Tourism Board, World Bank, and the Asian Development Bank. People all around the world want fresh, clean air. Indeed, studies have shown that clean air is vital for good health and overall well-being. In 2002, the World Health Organization estimated that more than 2 million premature deaths each year can be attributed to the effects of air pollution. The trouble is, man is also responsible for much of the pollutants that are emitted into our atmosphere, such as from slash and burn, agricultural practices, and the burnings of fuels for power, industrial production, and transport. Air pollution is therefore one of the key issues that many countries are grappling with. Rapid urbanization and industrialization pose added challenges that cities in particular have to tackle. In 2008, half the world's population lived in urban areas. This is projected to reach 70% by 2050, with much of the growth concentrated in Asia and Africa. Asia alone is projected to gain 1.8 billion more urban dwellers by 2050. In addition, 11 of the 19 existing mega cities, cities with population above 10 million, are located in Asia, and 5 more expected by 2050. The convergence of people, ideas, and capital through urbanization has been a powerful economic force that has transformed societies. In his book, Whole Earth Discipline, American author Stuart Brand takes a contrarian view from some environmentalists and argues that urbanization is not necessarily bad for the environment either. For one, he notes that packing more people in cities means that more space can be left for nature. Cities also help transform agricultural practices through innovation, thus helping to reduce unsustainable practices such as slash and burn. Our experience here in Singapore has been that with foresight, careful planning, and good execution, it is indeed possible to strike a balance between economic growth and environmental protection and create a livable and lively city for current and, more importantly, future generations. When Singapore gained independence in the 60s, industrialization was a key anchor for creating employment, stability, and growth for our young nation. However, we were determined to do so while avoiding the ills that industrial towns and cities in those days were beset with, cognizant of the fact that this 700 square kilometers island was all that we had to call home. Stringent measures were thus put in place, overseen by an anti-pollution unit that reported directly to the Prime Minister. From the planning stage, such as locating pollutive industries away from residential towns, down to mandating and enforcing strict emission standards, we have been careful to calibrate our air pollution control measures to strike a fine balance between supporting economic development and ensuring a high quality of life. These measures have served Singapore well over the past 4 decades, as can be seen by our good ambient air quality record. So I'm proud to say that for most years, except when we are affected by the transboundary smoke haze, our local pollutive standards index, or PSI readings, were in the good range for about 90% or more of the days, with the rest in the moderate range. Many who have been here and abroad have also complimented us for our clean air. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. New challenges continue to emerge, even as our national circumstances and our people's expectations change over time. A key challenge that we have and the global community need to tackle is that of climate change. In its 4th assessment report released in 2007, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, concluded, and I quote, "Future climate change may cause significant air quality degradation by changing the dispersion rate of pollutants, the chemical environment for ozone and particle pollution generation, and the strength of emissions from the biosphere, fires, and dust," close quote. The effects of climate change will affect all nations, and Asia and Southeast Asia will not be spared. With the first commitment period of the Kyoto Protocol coming to an end soon, Many had hoped that the Copenhagen Climate Conference last December would be able to deliver a fair and equitable agreement that sets the world on a more sustainable path. However, this was not realized owing to the complexity and deep ramifications that resolving the issue entails. Much more effort is needed for the international community to cut through the Gordian knot and map out a way forward. Singapore will continue to support and help move the negotiation process. Notwithstanding the impasse, we are now moving forward to do our bit in response to climate change as a responsible member of the global community. In so doing, we continue to build upon our past efforts to make Singapore the best home to live, work, and to play. In fact, many of the measures put in place to mitigate the impacts of climate change also have a positive impact on improving our air quality. So in this regard, a Sustainable Singapore Blueprint, or SSB, was released in April last year. The work of an Inter-Ministerial Committee on Sustainable Development, the blueprint sets out a national framework and strategies to guide and ensure that Singapore continues on the path of sustainable development in response to local and global challenges such as climate change in its next lap of growth in the coming 20 years. One of the key goals in the blueprint is to achieve an economy-wide energy intensity reduction of 35% from 2005 levels by 2030 through measures such as promoting energy efficiency and increasing public transport usage. Specific air quality targets have also been set. We aim to reduce the fine particulate matter, or PM2.5 levels, from 16 microgram per cubic meter to 12 microgram per cubic meter, and to cap sulfur dioxide levels at 15 microgram per cubic meter by 2020, and to maintain them at these levels till 2030, even as our economy continues to grow. Seeing how climate change and air pollution knows no boundaries, we are also actively engaging our regional partners on these issues. In fact, as you have seen from the slides earlier, just a short while back, people in this region were reminded yet again of the challenges of tackling transboundary smoke haze pollution caused by forest and peatland fires from unsustainable land clearing practices. The countries in the region are cooperating to tackle the problem through bilateral and regional mechanisms such as the ASEAN Sub-Regional Ministerial Steering Committee on Transboundary Haze Pollution. International partnership such as Norway's US $1 billion deal with Indonesia to manage the latter's forests more sustainably are ways in which other countries can help curb carbon emissions and air pollution from forest degradation and deforestation. Access to clean air will continue to be one of the key requisites for a livable city, among others such as housing and employment, access to fresh water, health and safety, and the availability of educational and recreational facilities. This requires the concerted effort from all stakeholders. Governments will need to continue providing policy framework and overarching programs to support city plans and actions for reducing emissions and sustainable development. Non-governmental organizations or NGOs and media play an important role in raising public awareness. The private sector is no less important in doing their part to protect the environment. Universities and research institutes are indispensable partners as they are at the forefront of technical solutions to tackle air pollution and climate change. Individual citizens also have a part to play through simple measures such as reducing energy usage and, of course, taking public transport. On the broader global front, countries will need to evolve their own approaches to improve air quality and mitigate the effects of climate change in consideration of their different geographical configurations and cultures. Although there is no one-size-fits-all solution, it is imperative that each of us do our part while contributing to the global effort to address the challenges in maintaining good air quality and mitigating the effects of climate change. So in this regard, I'm happy to note that this conference has brought together policymakers, civil societies, academia, experts, private sectors, international organizations, and media from all around the world, and especially Asia, to discuss and exchange ideas on achieving better air quality against the backdrop of a changing climate. I'm confident that it will galvanize us to take even greater strides to ensure that even as we grow our economies, we take active steps to reduce the impact of our development on natural resources and the environment for our present and future generations. In closing, I wish all our overseas friends an enjoyable stay here in Singapore, and for all the participants, a successful and fruitful conference. Thank you very much.